Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Yoanta Pravishya Mama Vacham Imam Prasuptam Sanjeevayatyakhil Shakti Bharasvadhamna अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् समचरणसरोजम् सान्द्रनीलाम्बुदाभम् जघननिहितपाणिम् मण्डनम् मण्डनानाम् तरुणतुलसीमाला कन्धरम् कञ्जनेत्रम् सदयधवलहासम् विठ्ठलम् चिन्तयामि विठ्ठलम् चिन्तयामि. Pranams to the Lord. Pranams to all the Mahatmas in tonight's Eknathi Bhagawat session. Over to you, Gitaji.
We continue with Ovis 543. I'm sorry, I'm on the book, so the page is 150, but PDF.
PDF 176, 125.
543. O King, I am going to tell you what is the nature of that devotion and how the devotees of Hari attain the highest state so easily. Please listen further.
Shravanam Kirtanam Dhyanam Hareradbhuta Karmanaha Janma Karma Gunanancha Tadarthe Khila Cheshtitam.
Meaning of the verse: the devotee should listen, should sing in praise, and meditate on the wonderful actions of Hari, his story of birth, actions, and virtues, and do all his work only for pleasing the Lord Hari. 544. The prime activity in the devotion of Sri Hari is to listen with complete faith to the stories of his birth, his divine virtues and adventures, and to sing in his praise songs and do kirtan. 545. All other activities are not so important as kirtan. The miracles performed by Hari are extraordinary and wonderful. When one sings the songs of praise of God, the mind becomes very happy. 546. Some of the miracles are: 1. Rama made stones to float on the sea. 2. Sri Krishna held up the Govardhana mountain on his finger. 3. He shifted all the citizens of Mathura overnight without disturbing their sleep. 547. And 4. He brought back the dead son of his Guru Sandipani. 5. He swallowed the forest fire. 6. To please his mother, he brought back his dead brothers from heaven to show them to his mother. 548. Though he had no birth, by his will, he took the incarnations. Though he is without karma, he had achieved masterly feats. And though he was having no qualities like sattva, rajas, etc., he functioned as if he were having those qualities. If such adventures and virtues of the Lord Sri Krishna are described to others, he is very pleased. 549. Though he is the very image of joy in his own nature, if in the Kirtana his achievements are praised and told to others, he starts to nod with joy. 550. By such Kirtan, in which the fame of Hari is sung, the mind of that devotee becomes pure and the image of God easily becomes fixed in his consciousness. O King, I will describe the details of his physical appearance. Please listen. 551. There is crown on his head. There are earrings in his ears. There is a band around his waist. There is yellow dhoti with jari work, which he is wearing on his waist and below. There is Vaijayanti garland put around his neck, which reaches down to his ankles. He looks very beautiful in his dark complexion. 552. Such image of Hari with all beautiful limbs become clear to the mental eye. There is one type of meditation. This is one type of meditation. The second type is where, from the mind of the devotee, the name and the form of the God are dissolved, and only the abstract, pure, total, absolute Brahman as energy becomes the inspiration. 553. When such image of God becomes firm in the mind of the devotee, the thought and action of that devotee become an offering to Sri Krishna, including the devotee's wife and sons and all his possessions.
Ishtan dattan tapojaptam vrittan yachatmanah priyam daran sutan grihan pranan yat parasmai nivedanam.
Meaning of the verse: he should offer everything, example, the sacrifice, the charity, the penance, the repetition of name, actions, and whatever is liked by him, including wife, sons, houses, etc. 554. Whatever the devotee does, such as sacrifices like Agnihotra, etc., money given in charity at special occasions like eclipses, and penance, which is observance of all the rules of conduct according to the caste and ashrama. 555. The repetition of the nama should be done, or the mantra japa given by Guru, and mantra with the process of ritualistic worship, including establishing of avarna, surrounding deities, according to the scientific method to be followed, should be repeated. 556. All these, which include sacrifice, charity, religious observances, penance, initiation by mantra, or repetition of God's name, should be offered to the Lord Sri Krishna without any selfish desire. 557. Those who act in this way and surrender themselves to Hari become very dear to him, and he takes care of them as a mother takes care of her young ones. 558. It is therefore proper for the devotee that any worry about business or means of livelihood should also be left at the feet of the Lord. Really wise devotees never say anything belongs to them and become proud about their possessions. 559. The devotees trust in the advice given by their Guru and offer to the Lord Sri Krishna everything which they like very much or have great love about it in their heart. 560. They totally use every moment of all the 24 hours in his service and never turn their mind or action towards mundane objects. 561. They do not beg to rich persons for the sake of food, nor waste their valuable life in the desires for worldly pleasures and objects of ephemeral nature. 562. Even if one spends millions of rupees, one cannot call back a minute that has gone into the past. So, a wise devotee uses every valuable moment in spiritual life. He simply spits upon heaps of earthly pleasures. 563. Even kings leave their kingdom and go to the forest to do penance and give up their attachment to objects of pleasure in the sincere pursuit of liberation. 564. How can we fully describe the joy of complete devotion? A really sincere devotee does not waste a moment. He offers and surrenders his whole life to the Lord Sri Krishna. 565. He has no sense of possession for his wife and children. He has no selfish motive for them. He says to himself, these persons do not belong to me. They belong to the God. 566. As he sees Paramatman in his wife, sons, his own body, his house, and his pranas also, he has not to say, they are offered to me by the Lord, but looks at them as the images of God only. Naturally, everything already stands surrendered to Brahman.
Even Krishnatmanatheshu Manushyeshu cha saududam Paricharyancho bhayatra Mahatsu nrishu sadhushu.
Meaning of the verse: he should also learn to love those persons who have realized Sri Krishna as their Atman and as the Lord of their life, to serve human beings, especially those among them who are Mahatmas and sages. 567. These devotees are dear to the Lord Sri Krishna, who thus surrender all their relatives to the will of the Lord of the God and use whole of their time in the pursuit of service to the Lord. 568. The devotee who worships wholeheartedly the Lord who is residing in each and every being as Paramatman. 569. So long as his vision is not fixed in the aspect of the God, who is formless and all-pervading, should concentrate in his heart upon the qualified image of God and worship him. 570. If his mind cannot be fixed on the God with qualities, he should worship the image of God. There also, he should consider equal the fixed image of God in a temple and any image of God which can be moved from one place to another, following the advice given by his Guru. 571. Those images which the devotees worship in their own house should be considered as movable images, and images of the Lord in the temples at Dwarka, etc., which are established, should be considered as fixed. 572. Still better than those images, Brahmins in person should be worshipped. They are worth worshipping and should be so honored faithfully. 573. Among the Brahmins, he who is having the knowledge of Vedas is worthier, and if he is knowing the meaning of Vedas and scriptures, he is still of a higher rank. He should be worshipped. 574. Even amongst all such, if a Brahmin is a devotee of Bhagwan who worships God without selfish motive and is alert in the observance of the rules of conduct of Bhagavata way of life, is worthier. 575. He considers Krishna as his Atman, as his Lord, and is totally dedicated to this Sri Krishna and is really the best person to whom worship should be offered. 576. Please remember that the Guru, whom all the gods, all the men, and all the Vedas praise, is the highest person of worship for disciple. 577. To say that Guru and Brahman are equal is not a correct statement, because Brahman in itself is not so recognized without being explained by the Guru. Really, there is such unity that there is no scope to say that they are equal. Even the notional duality is not there. 578. As one has faith in God, so one should have the same faith in his Guru, because there is no duality in God and Guru except the name. 579. So, the Guru is pleased when one worships God, and God is pleased when one worships the Guru. Though the names are different, they are one only in their nature of joy. 580. Though ring and gold are two words, they denote only gold. Similarly, Brahman, God, and Guru are all Brahman only. 581. One should be a devotee of the Guru by his physical body, by his mind, and by his money, and worship him without having any ulterior motives or cunningness. One should offer himself totally with all one's possessions to the Guru. 582. Similarly, sages and listeners who are men of wisdom should be respected as gurus. When we have dialogues with them, we should keep up listening to them and discussing about the path of devotion.
परस्परानुकथनं पावनं भगवद्यशः मिथोरतेर्मिथस्तुष्टिः निवृत्तेर्मिथ आत्मनः.
Meaning of the verse: he should further learn to expound and discuss among the devotees the sacred glory of the Lord and enjoy together the delight and satisfaction in it, resulting in the freedom from egoism. 583. When the devotee has a dialogue and discussion with these persons, self-knowledge for both emerges and great joy fills their minds. 584. By having love for the stories of the Lord Hari mutually, both have great trust and faith. There is a happy communion of two people and both enjoy the happiness of the Atman. 585. When they once taste the sweetness of joy in their Atman, sorrow disappears totally. Devotees therefore should unfurl the flag of the empire of devotion and enjoy the self-bliss. 586. When they worship with real faith, they attain fully the self-bliss. O King, I shall describe the real sign of that self-bliss.
परन्तः स्मारयन्तश्च मिथो घौघहरं हरिं भक्त्या सञ्जातया भक्त्या बिभ्रत्युत्पुलकान्तनं क्वचिद्रुदन्त्यच्युत चिन्तया क्वचित् हसन्ति नन्दन्ति वदन्त्यलौकिकाः नृत्यन्ति गायन्त्यनुशीलयन्त्यजम् भवन्ति तूष्णीं परमेत्य निर्वृताः.
Meaning of the verses. Thus remembering and reminding one another of Sri Hari, the destroyer of the flow of sins, and their devotion transformed into divine love, the devotees, filled with rapture, experience a thrill of joy. Sometimes they weep with the anguish of separation from Sri Hari. Sometimes they laugh and rejoice and address him, call him as if he were present by their side, indulge joyously in dancing and singing, and sometimes thinking of the Lord who has no birth, feel that they have reached the Lord and thus become peaceful and silent. In this way, their behavior becomes very much abnormal. 587. The man who asks about the great virtue of the story of Hari and one who describes it at length in reply both earn a great amount of merit. Then sin is not to be seen at all. 588. If the Lord, by taking whose name only all sins are destroyed, becomes manifest in the heart of the devotee, how can the sin get a place there? 589. Through doing devotional activities as a means to reach the Lord, higher devotion of love of the Lord comes into being. O King, you are intelligent. I shall tell you the nature of this devotion. Please hear it from me. 590. By worshipping the Lord with pure faith of his unity with the devotee, he himself becomes manifest in the heart, and then there is also change in the appearance of the devotee. 591. When there is a mutual dialogue between two devotees, there is understanding of the reality, and eyes are full of tears. There is perspiration, and suddenly the smooth breathing becomes irregular, and sometimes a suffocating sensation is evident. 592. When the consciousness is touched by the magic of spiritual energy, there is lump in the throat, there is shuddering and shivering of the body. The eyelids become half closed and the eyes become still. 593. When he thinks about Achyut, Lord Sri Krishna, his mind and heart are full of emotions. He cries out by the pain of separation and starts sobbing. 594. While sobbing, suddenly he begins to laugh, and in the ecstasy, he begins to hold his stomach and laugh aloud like a madman. 595. He says to himself, I was caught in the clutches of ego because of my attachment to the body, but now I have become free. Lo, by the keen advice of my teacher, I am now full of joy. Haha. 596. I had been stranded because of my attachment to myself and my possessions. I had missed myself, and by the help of my Guru's advice, I have met myself. With this thought, he becomes very much agitated. 597. He becomes very talkative by the wonder and the emotional disturbance, saying, how wonderful is the word of my Guru. I am enjoying the bliss of the self. The phantom of the worldly life was strangely harassing me, and I was afraid. But because of the strong words of my Guru, I was freed from the fear. Thus, he is overwhelmed by the joy and begins to dance without any shame. 599. As the child begins to dance, when it sees its mother, he thinks about the great effect of the advice given by his Guru and openly dances. 600. In the wake of self-knowledge, he begins to sing aloud the songs of praise by the Lord. 601. By the din of songs sung in praise of the God, the three worlds echo and re-echo, and even the great joy itself becomes satisfied and utters the Lord's name in that ecstasy. Should I continue or? 602. The devotee stops singing and starts to shout. I'm listening to my own song. There is nobody else here and nothing else. 603. I am the singer and I am the listener and I am myself my song. There is only I in the whole world. There is no trace of duality at all. This is his state. 604. So, when one continues to do service to the Lord by total devotion, then automatically all action cease. I am and I am that. Both disappear and there is no focus to the consciousness. 605. When in this way the devotion coupled with love of God increases, the hardship of the devotee, which he was experiencing earlier, disappears, and the confusion about the worldly life is cleared, and the sense organs with all the facets of speech get peaceful. 606. The state where there is neither one nor two, there is nothing in the front or at the back, where happiness merges into itself. That state the disciple reaches definitely. 607. Only the mother who has given birth to the child knows how to please it. Similarly, only the Sadguru knows well how to impart self-knowledge to the disciple. 608. As only the mother knows how to enjoy looking at her child with loving interest after putting beautiful ornaments on its body, only the Sadguru knows how to be happy by making the disciple joyful by self-knowledge. 609. There is one absolute thing which knows no modifications. The sense organs do not know its place. The mind and the speech cannot reach it, and the intellect cannot measure its limits. 610. Spirituality is not such a thing which can be shown actually to the eyes of the beholder, nor a thing that can be put in somebody's hand, but Sadguru gives the disciple that experience directly.
Hariyo, we can pause over here. Beautiful readings. You can give your thoughts and then others can share. You can give your thoughts first, Pinochet.
There is so many things, but the ultimate surrender to the Guru is, I think, there was one which I had marked. So that 577, to say that Guru and Brahman are equal is not a correct statement.
Yes.
That was, I mean, as I was reading, because I was focusing on reading, but that came across so beautifully. That is, so that for me, ultimately, whenever I've read this, it is all about that one surrender to the Guru who shows us that ultimate path, because he so beautifully talks about the Guru. There was another thing which I can't. Okay, I've had 2-3 things which I had to go back to, but I'll look for it. Let others give their.
So, any other thoughts? I just love that 551 when the description of Bhagwan is coming. You know, how is he? There's a crown on his head, there are earring in his ears, you know. It's so beautiful. Done round and this yellow dhoti and the Vajanti to visualize when we are. And the jap is again insisted. See, the chant, there is no other way than jap. So definitely, we'll have to hold on to a routine of doing a japa. Actually, in Singapore, we have this Jyoti store where we get beautiful japa malas. So if you still don't have, you should seek whatever is your Ishta Devata and the mala that suits.
That verse reminds of the verse from Narayaniyam, Surya Spardhi Kirita Murtvadilaka.
Excellent. Wow, what a correlation, Nikhil. Yes, second Dashaka.
Second Dashaka.
Bhagavad Rupavarna.
And like few verses are from Gita where Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vaja. And
Yes.
9th chapter, Ananyas Chintayantu Mam.
Yes. Wow. Lovely, lovely correlations, Nikhilji. Amazing. Any other thoughts coming to anyone?
Yeah, I think for me, I
we've
used to always think that the
Yes, yes, yes. Go ahead, Vanessa. You think always?
well, I think when I began reading, I mean, when I started the Gita journey with you, I always used to think that the path of bhakti, which was to me the path of least resistance, was the easiest. And I realize how hard it is to totally surrender.
Yes.
So I think that's one of the things that got heightened for me in
It's
today's
tough.
verse.
And yeah, for that bhakti, to at one place to give our everything, it's tough. Even to our family, we don't give ourselves fully. We might love them very dearly, but one point comes, if the family member crosses that, we scream and we yell and we distance, even if it is our own spouse or kids. It's not completely selfless love. As far as we are comfortable, we are happy with the people around us. The moment they step on our shoes, our love goes out of window. We've seen this so much. Then above that is the devotion. Means over there, there is so much surrender required. So devotion is like, oh my, beautiful point you touched, Vinisha. Excellent. Lataji, you were saying something.
No, I mean, I was just thinking, like I have attended a few Nama Sankirtanam, and I have seen that when you really get into that mood of that thing, that little bit of bliss, when really, I have seen, felt that, goosebumps, because he mentions here how they sing and they dance and, and even people may think he's mad. And we've had people like in history, we've read about Chaitanya and so many other people who have really composed all the abhangs and all, Namdev and all. So I was just thinking about that, because when I heard, I have attended a few of those Nama Sankirtanams years ago. And really, you do get up and start dancing in joy at the end of it. And so it is, that is one thing I like in this bhakti tradition of ours, where, we also pulled into it.
Correct.
So when
But
you
see,
go
again,
there,
that jnana and bhakti are so together because that's why the bhakti comes, and because there is a bhakti, the jnana dawns. Both has
yeah,
they go just hand in hand. Amazing. You touched that point because just now only this Ashadi Ekadashi and this Varkari and the
yes,
way and it starts from the Salandi and the way they go. It's so simple and the devotion is at the highest peak. And whatever they say and whatever the jap and the namasankirtan they do, you just get up and you are on your
yeah,
toes. You forget
it's
you are
very,
in that moment. And after some time, when you are drawn into it so much, even that moment is forgotten, yourself is forgotten, everything
yes,
just melts into
yes.
one big oneness.
It's just this very short moment, but definitely you come away from that feeling so good. I mean, even listening
Yes.
to such a thing on YouTube the other day, it was so enjoyable. There was an thing about Jana Bhai. Her story was so good. I mean, you can get lost. So I can imagine if you are the person singing and really with that devotion, how much more it would be. He would be in a permanent state of bliss, not this momentary.
Yes.
We
Yes,
are
and
fortunate.
Eknathi Maharaj is a living example, and he's writing in that mood of surrender that I am not doing it, it's getting done. Means we are hearing the highest words of such a realized sant. Amazing. That's a very good point, that's Lataji. Anybody is having any other point?
I like that definition of spirituality. Like it cannot be shown to the eyes or given in the hand, and only the
Yeah.
Sadguru can reveal that experience to the
Yes.
devotee.
Yes. Yes. Very beautiful. Even that is excellent. So we'll head to the closing prayers and then tomorrow we continue from 6:11. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Hari Om everyone. Thank you for joining.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.